Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to week 3 of On the Michael Flix. Another week of fun, another week of sports talk, more specifically basketball talk, because that's what's going on here in San Diego at the moment. But overall sports talk, got a new sports team. I don't know how new it is in San Diego, but it's new to me, a new sports team I want to talk about in a little bit of the football variety. But yeah, man, I'm doing good. Again, nobody asked me, but I'm gonna always let y'all know how I'm doing. Doing good, man. Had somewhat of a long week, man, with the Swish Pro-am starting back up. I'm out on the baselines and doing pictures and video at the Swish Pro-am. Did my own podcast with my brothers. You know, just been real busy, been running around, man. I gotta more specifically, I was super busy last night. Like, your boy is really tired, man. I have a 2-month-old in the house, a 4-year-old and a 2-month-old, and my 2-month-old didn't go to sleep till like 3 o'clock last night. And wifey needed me to take that shift. She needed to lay it down and get some rest. So I was up with my son Max till about 3 something last night. And didn't fall asleep till about 4:45. Woke up late to come here, but I made it on time, and we in here to do another episode of On the Michael Flix, man. But yeah, man, couple things I wanted to get into. The Swish Pro-am. This good looking. The Swish Pro-am is going back. I mentioned it before, but the Swish Pro-am is back this summer here in San Diego, man. It's a professional. I got Pro-am, I believe, stands for professional and amateur. So it's a Pro-am for professional and amateur players here in San Diego. And it's a real big deal for me and for a lot of other people, because as of right now, it's the only organized basketball that's being played. I've heard of a few AAU teams and tournaments that are going right now. But other than that, there isn't really much going on. And even with that, a lot of players aren't out doing that right now. So the fact that the Swish Pro-am is going on right now is really fun, man. It's really exciting. You could feel the energy, like when you greet people, you know, at the Swish Pro-am here in San Diego. You can feel the excitement. You can feel the energy in people, that people are, for number one, back outside, but also back around basketball. Shout out to my boy Tito. I seen him on the first day of the Swish Pro-am, and this dude we had our mask on, we had, you know, hand sanitizer when we came in the gym and everything. And I'm gonna talk about that in a second. But man, a big embrace, and it was just like, man, you could just tell it was like, man, I'm good to be back around my hoop homies. Like, even if you got friends that, like, your neighbors or, like, your family that's been coming over, like, your hoop homies is a little different. Like, it's different conversations that go on in the gym. It's much more energy. It's more high level. So it's different, man, when you back around your hoop homies and just your homies that you haven't seen for a while. And Tito's for sure one of my homies that I haven't seen for a while. But about the Swish Pro-am, I've been seeing people asking me in the comments on a few of my posts, and I've been seeing a conversation about it a little bit. People like, what, the Pro-am is going? They ain't got them boys in a bubble? Like, that's kind of dangerous, ain't it? And, you know, there's no arguing that there is, you know, a little bit of risk to it. But let me assure you that the staff at the Swish Pro-am is handling everything extremely professionally. Pardon me. Before even being allowed into the gym, they're playing at Alliant University, Alliant International University here in San Diego. Before you even can come into the building, and I'm media, and it was even more extensive for the players. But for me, there were like 3 different forms I had to fill out, 2 different COVID questionnaires. You have to take a COVID questionnaire every day before you come in, and every day when you come in, there's 2 temperature checks. So they're taking every precaution possible before letting you in the building. And then once you're in the building, no one's really hanging out. Like, the people that mop the floor are off doing they're off standing by themselves. Me, like the camera people, like I'm right on the baseline. There's other camera people like in the corner, on the sidelines. Everybody's spread out. Everything is spread out. Like, even the people sitting at the table doing like the stats and stuff, like everything is spread out. And then also, after the game, they're not, when the game is being played, let me be clear about that also. When the game is being played, it's normal. It's normal. The homie, like somebody on your team hit a free throw, you walk up, high five them. You knock somebody down, you go and grab them and pick them up hand to hand. When you play, it's normal. But as soon as the game is over, the players aren't allowed to shake hands. They're not, like, there's no like hanging out like after the game, like, oh, that was crazy. Like, none of that. As soon as the game is over, you go to your bench, you grab your mask, come to the table and get hand sanitized. You go back to the bench, grab all your belongings, and you immediately leave the gym. And they're disinfecting the area before the new team comes to sit down. So they're taking every precaution possible. And so the first night The first night was this past Tuesday, the 7th. So there's 3 games. There's 3 games a night on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The games are at 4 o'clock. I mean, not that fans can go, but you can watch it on Facebook Live and on SanDiegoSwish.net, I believe is the name of the website. And so Tuesdays and Thursdays, there's 3 games, 4 o'clock, 5 something, and then 7 something. And then today, Saturdays, and this is a 5 week. This is week 1 of a 5 week season before the playoffs. And then on Saturdays, there's a 12:30 game, and then 3 games that follow that. I forget all the exact times, and with basketball, none of the games actually start on the exact time anyway, because whistles and timeouts and all that. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 games starting at 4. Saturdays, 4 games starting at 12:30. And nobody asked me, and I'm sure the Swish is gonna, do their own players of the game and players of the week and all of that. But since I am a sports guy, I'm gonna be there every week. I'm gonna see every game. I'm gonna have a player of the game for every game, and I'm gonna go ahead and share it right here on the Michael Flix. And so Tuesday night, and if you're watching this video on YouTube while I'm talking about the people that I'm talking about, you're gonna see highlights on the screen, so that'd be pretty dope. On Tuesday night, Johnny D for the Reapers, Team Reapers, went for 22 points. And if you're in San Diego, you know who Johnny D is. He's player of the game. He's the Flixxy Hussle Player of the game for Tuesday night. If you here in San Diego on the basketball scene, you know exactly who Johnny D is, man. He's been a really, really solid player for a really, really long time, going back to his game point days. I believe he went to UC San Diego, and now he's playing pro. I've seen him play. He played last year in the Swish Pro-am. He played. I've seen him play in the Drew League, and he's just always doing the right thing, man. Johnny D is a really, really solid player. And at first I wouldn't say he started the game slow, but I say he started the game chilling. Like he was just chilling, like passing, scoring when it was open. But guys started not anything heated, but when you competing, people started talking, and guys started talking, and Johnny D just started getting buckets, man. Started getting buckets, driving down the lane. Getting big men off him with the off-arm finishing strong, hitting shots from deep, and he got a lot of range on his jumper too, man. Johnny D played very, very well on Tuesday night. He was my Flixxy Hussle player of the game, player of the night for Tuesday night. And then Thursday night, I was just telling my brother yesterday, before I talk about his stats, let me tell you why this was so impressive to me. So I'm at the Swish Tuesday night, and this guy that I'm talking about didn't play on Tuesday night. He's just on Instagram seeing the videos that I've been posting. So he hits me. His name on Instagram is the Hezzy guy. So I'm still working. It's either a timeout or a halftime or something, a chance for me to check my phone. I look at my Instagram DMs, and dude says, bro, how much for a highlight video for this show I'm about to put on Thursday night? And I've had guys hit me up before like, hey, yo, bro, I'm finna go crazy at the tournament. Make sure you're there. Hey, yo, bro, we got so-and-so in the gym this week. Like, I'm finna go crazy. Make sure you're there. And sometimes I believe it. Depending on the player, depending on who you are, I always believe it. Even if you don't show up, even if you told me that once and I came out and you didn't really show out, if you one of them dudes, I'm going to believe it every time you see it. But this is somebody I've never met. So I'm like, maybe he could hoop. Maybe he can't. I don't know, but we'll see. But, I mean, he want a video for sure. I'd give him what he need. If he paying, I got him. So I said, yeah, tell him the price. He like, all right, I'm putting on a show on Thursday. Make sure you're there. I had a camera ready. I'm like, all right, bet, bro. This dude, oh, man, I think his name is Ryan. My bad, bro. But you're going to see this and you're going to blow up the comments, I'm sure. Everybody, you're going to get a few more followers. But, yeah, man, this dude came in the gym. The Hezzy guy on Instagram. He plays for Infinity with the yellow or orange jerseys. This dude came in the gym, man, in his first game at the Swish Pro-am. This dude had 35 points and hit the game-winning 3 with 3 seconds left. It wasn't a buzzer beater. Like when he hit the shot, there was 3 seconds left, or no, maybe 2 seconds left, and they had to heave it up and ended up losing. I believe they were playing against the Kings. Were they playing against the Kings? No, I forget who they were playing against. But anyway, like I said, dude said he was coming to put on a show, and he absolutely did that, man. He driving the lane, nothing super crazy or creative. He ain't a whole bunch of jellies and stuff, but just finishing strong with contact. Deep threes off the pull-up, coming right off the screen, pulling up. And he not a big dude. He 5'10", 5'11". He not super sleek and fast. He got some size on him, but dude can play, man. So shout out to you, man. Like I said, I've had a few people hit me up talking about they gonna put on a show and they go do this, that, and the third. And you can't always call it. Sometimes you plan to do that and you feeling good and it just ain't your night. But like I said, he had never played in the Swish before and was like, yo, I'm finna shut it down. And he came through. And he came through and shut it down. So shout out to him, man. So yeah, if you want to watch some basketball, some actual live, meaningful basketball, Tuesdays and Thursdays starting at 4 o'clock, and then Saturdays starting at 12:30 on Facebook Live, San Diego Swish on Facebook Live, and then SanDiegoSwish.net is their website where you can stream all the games live. Yes, man. So that's it for my Swish Pro-am updates. I'm gonna come with those. I'm actually, after I'm headed here today, actually my guest today, my man Yassine Gharram, he plays in the Swish Pro-am. I'm actually gonna be, after I leave here, I'm gonna be heading down to the Swish Pro-am, and I'll be there every game, man, from first game to the final buzzer, from tip off to the final buzzer, I guess I should say. I'll be there every game, every week. Yeah, man. Another thing I wanted to get into as far as San Diego sports, I don't know how many people knew, and I definitely didn't know, that San Diego has a professional women's football team, the San Diego Tridents. I don't know if I clicked on a hashtag or I don't know how I found them on Instagram, but I'm just on Instagram and I seen it. And to be honest, when I first saw it, I thought it was another basketball team because, another ABA basketball team because we got the Kings, shout out to the Kings. We got the Guardians, shout out to the Guardians. We got the Surf, we got the San Diego Surf, it's a few teams, though. Chula Vista Suns, they just popped up. So I thought it was another ABA team popping up. And then I clicked on the page and I saw it was women's football, and they got some, just scrolling the page, clicking on, different girls that they signed on the team. They got some girls that played a whole bunch of different sports, and the girls that, like, when you check out the little videos they got on their page, they can really play. I'm really, really interested to get out to it. I don't know when things are going to open back up to normal. We can actually go outside and, attend a sporting event, with fans there. Maybe they'll play with no fans and I'll be able to go because I'm a cameraman. But either way, I shouldn't have said that. Either way, I'd like to be able to go and watch a professional women's football game. I've only seen women play flag football, powder puff football, and then like the lingerie league, which is like, with all due respect to women that play in the lingerie league, it's football. Y'all really out there running the ball, getting tackled, stiff arming people. I get it, but it's different. Like, it's different when it's not like professional. I would imagine. I've never played professional football on either level. The farthest I went was high school varsity. Let me be respectful, but I don't think, the lingerie league, I don't think is quite the same as this professional league that I'm just now seeing. So, with all that said, if anybody knows anybody that plays on the San Diego Tridents, or if you know the owner of the team, a coach, any player, anybody affiliated with the team at all, please have them reach out to me on any of my social media pages. Michael Flix, I am Mike Rohn, or I am Mike Rohn on Twitter. I'm not on Snapchat. I'm really only on Twitter and Instagram. I'm on Facebook too. Anywhere you see me on social media, if you know somebody that's affiliated with the San Diego Tridents, please have them reach out to me because I would love to have somebody on the show and just talk to somebody about being a female professional football player. I think that'd be dope, and it also would inspire a lot of people. I'm going to tell this quick story. I told myself I was going to save it for whenever I interviewed somebody from the Tridents, but I got time to fill, so why not? One of the reasons why, and I'll mention this to whoever I interview when they're in here, the reason why it's so interesting to me and why it was a shock to me that there was actually a women's professional league that wasn't like lingerie is because I've always known, and granted, this is high school, but after Pop Warner, like I had one girl playing one of my Pop Warner football teams, and she was cool. Like she got her playing time. And when you play Pop Warner, every player has to get their minimal plays. Like every player has to play at least 7 plays in the whole game. And she would play about 14 to 15 plays. So she wasn't just like a minimal play person. She was a little bit above that. But she played defensive line. And keep in mind, this is Pop Warner, so it's not like I played defensive line for a few games in Pop Warner, and I've always been the lightest guy on my team. I told y'all that story before. So, but she was tough as nails though. She'd get blown up, get ran over in practice, and she'd jump up and keep playing. She'd cry from time to time, but she'd keep playing. Like through the tears, she'd keep playing. It also helped that her mom was the personal trainer for the team. That was actually dope. Our Pop Warner team actually had like a traveling certified athletic trainer because her mom was an athletic trainer. But anyway, she played and she was cool, but I'm pretty sure she didn't play in high school, and she lived in the same town I did, and I never heard anything about it. So I don't think she ever played and did anything with football in high school. But at my high school, I went to Orange Glen High School, graduated in '06. my sophomore year, my freshman year, I think. If I'm not mistaken, my freshman year a girl went out for the football team, and she didn't get hurt or anything, but she just, with all due respect, if I'm remembering correctly, she just couldn't hack it, really. And that's not disrespectful. That's something you say in sports. If a dude would have came, if a young man would have came out to a high school football team and left after 2 weeks with no injuries and it was just too much for him, with all due respect, I would have said to him, you just couldn't hack it. That's just what it is. So, I mean, she couldn't hack it, and she ended up, it was too much for her. And then the only other example I have of a one, but at the same time, that's a woman playing against men. So there's that. So, and this other example I'm about to give to you is the same thing as well. There was a girl my sophomore year in high school. A girl went out for the wrestling team. And at Orange Glen at the time, my 4 years there, our wrestling team was always like competing for CIF. They was always one of the best teams in all of San Diego. And a girl went out for the team one year. And our coach, obviously, if you got a team that's competing for CIF every year, you're a pretty good coach. And I remember talking to him. He and I were really cool because he actually found out I was a mama's boy. And he was like, nah, that's cool. I'm a mama's boy, too. Like, you find out how a man go treat his wife by how he treat his mom and this, that, and third. So, you know, he heard people making fun of me for being a mama's boy, and we connected on that. So he and I were always real cool. Levine. Shout out to Coach Levine. I asked him about it. So anyway, the girl that went out for the wrestling team, she ended up getting her collarbone broken. And I remember asking Coach Levine about it because he was an intense guy. Like, he was a really, really intense guy. I remember seeing him break up fights on campus, and he never threw a punch on anybody. But because he's a wrestler and a big, strong guy, when he would grab somebody off of someone in a fight, he looked like he was trying to hurt them, but he wasn't. And just hearing him coach, like, he coached wrestling, and he was a football coach. He coached wrestling like football with a lot of rah-rah, loud, aggressive energy, which is, I've never done it. Whatever, it's cool. Whatever, however you want to do it, do your thing. But anyway, because I know him to be real fiery, and I know the team to be really good, and I know how men can be when there's a woman around, I asked him. I said, and I asked him when nobody was around, and to be honest, if he told me it was like some foul play, I wouldn't tell the story, but I believe him that he was on the up and up with me. I asked him, I was like, when she broke her collarbone, like, the dude that she was wrestling with, that she was competing against, did he, like, body slam her? Did he, like, have her up here and, like, slam her, like, way harder? Like, he was like, no, he did what he would have done to a man. He just did it to her, and her collarbone broke. And so ever since then, and you could possibly isolate it as those two girls not really being, like, physically ready for that type of activity. But for me, I just kind of chalked it up to maybe girls aren't supposed to play these types of sports. Or maybe they're just not supposed to play them against men. I honestly didn't think of that until I was telling the story right now. But anyway, when I found the San Diego Tridents women's football team, my mind immediately went to those two examples. And I'm absolutely going to ask whoever comes in to interview with me, I'm absolutely going to ask them about that when they come in here, because I think it's very interesting. I'm sure whoever come in here, if it's like a running back or a linebacker, probably run me over. Shoot, as light as I am these days, I ain't done no football in a minute. My little brother looked out the window like, man, I ain't never saying that. Like, you got me messed up. My little brother played football at Orange Glen. Shout out to you, D. I appreciate you always being here, man. My little brother went to Orange Glen High School. He was his senior year, he was the 23rd ranked defensive back in all of California. Oh yeah, so he looking at he a big dude. Like, when you look at him, you would think maybe an outside linebacker, and for sure running back, you wouldn't. He doesn't really have the build of a DB. And so he used to be out there rocking dudes. So for me to be like a girl run me over, he looked out the window like, man, please, never in a million years. Do I want to talk about that this week? I might be able to say that for next week. One last thing I wanted to talk about before we get to segment 2, and I bring in my man Yassine Gharram for this interview. I was on Disney Plus the other day. I guarantee it's sports related. I was on Disney Plus the other day with my son. To be honest, I was trying to show him the movie Flubber. All he want to do all day is watch the show Rough Tweeting Dave and put these same videos on YouTube on a loop. And it gets so annoying. I used to sit in there and rock out with him, like sing the songs with him, but now it's like, bro, I've heard all these songs a million times. Like, you can play them all you want, but I'm not singing no more. And literally after an hour, we turning those off. But anyway, I put on Disney Plus, and I was trying to show him Flubber, one of the movies that I used to really watch and enjoy when I was a kid. And he likes basketball. There's like a basketball scene in there where they putting the flubber on their shoes and they dunking and jumping all crazy. So I tried to show him the movie, and he wasn't messing with it. And so when I'm leaving the Disney Plus app to go back to YouTube for him, I saw Air Bud, and then it made me think of all the sports movies that we had growing up. I say we as in like my age range. I'm 31. I say that all the time. I'm 31, so I'm talking about like my age range. Growing up, like I haven't seen a sports movie like a good but maybe I'm not looking out for them anymore. Maybe it's not on my radar, but I haven't seen like a commercial or an ad or a trailer for a good like kids sports movie in a long time. Growing up, we had Sandlot. I wrote them down. Where they at? We had where they at? Mighty Ducks, Sandlot, The Big Green, Little Giants, Cool Runnings, Angels in the Outfield, Air Bud, Space Jam. I mean, Rudy wasn't really a kid movie, but I mean, I saw it as a kid, and it was, you know what I'm saying? All of these movies had us outside. Even The Sixth Man with Marlon Wayans. Like, after watching all of those movies, whether I saw it in the theaters, I saw it at a sleepover, I saw it at my house, wherever I saw it, as soon as I was done watching that movie, I wanted to go outside and play that sport. I've always been an athletic kid, but a lot of my friends were like that too. You come to school, I never forget when Space Jam, and maybe because it's Michael Jordan, it's the Looney Tunes and all that, but I remember when Space Jam came out, like, Pops got us the tickets. We had our tickets, so we wasn't really tripping about having a seat in the theater. We just wanted to make sure we saw the whole movie. So we saw the whole movie, but by the time we got there, we was in the front row, like, looking straight up, watching Space Jam like that. And I remember getting home and instantly wanting to play basketball. Same thing with The Sixth Man. Same thing. I never one time wanted to play hockey until I watched the Mighty Ducks. I played one season of soccer. I watched that movie, The Big Green. I was like, maybe I should play soccer again. They made that look kind of cool, you know what I'm saying? Cool Runnings. It was a cool movie, but I was like, it would be cool to try it, but I never wanted to be a bobsledder. But my point is, all of these movies inspired us to get up and go outside. Like, so I believe, and I've felt this for a long time, even going back to high school. I remember actually writing a paper about this in high school. I believe that there's some type of a correlation between the lack of sports and athletic movies that get kids outside and the obesity numbers in this country. Just putting it out there. I mean, they're making PE different in schools and stuff now, but when you on your phone all the time, or you on TV or you in front of a screen all the time, whatever is in front of that screen is going to be reflected to an extent in your real life. You know what I mean? And if so, all you doing is, you know, Fortnite, Off-Whites, you know, all of that stuff is cool. Don't get it twisted, but everything's good in moderation. Like, I feel like you should be outside too. You should play your Fortnite too. You should be into your fashion over here too. Obviously, like, I'm into fashion. Shout out to Trill Consciousness, keep me fresh for every show. But anyway, my point in bringing all this up is I feel like there's a direct correlation between, maybe not direct, there's got to be some type of a correlation between movies that got us going outside and obesity numbers being lower, and then less movies like that and the obesity numbers going up. That's just how I feel about it. I wrote down that I wanted to talk about high school super teams because I watched a video on YouTube about it, and it was a pretty recent video, and it had a whole bunch of views on it. So I feel like it came out this week if I'm not mistaken. So I feel like it's somewhat of a relevant conversation. I do have an opinion on it, on high school super teams and kids moving around and teaming up to make their team as good as possible so they can try to make something shake. I do have an opinion on it. I'm not sure I want to share it just yet because I don't have very much time left in this first segment. And I want to really have time to get into it. Matter of fact, maybe when I bring Yassine in, I'll ask him a little bit about it. Maybe we'll do that. We'll talk a little bit about high school super teams. Yeah, man. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. Hey, Mr. Wade, can we go ahead and do the break now? And we're going to have Yassine come in a minute. Y'all stay tuned. On the Michael Flix. What's up, everybody? Welcome to On the Mic. Welcome back to On the Michael Flix. As promised, I got my man Yassine Gharram in here with me, man. My bad, I'm pushing the mic all over the place. Yeah, man, like I was saying, man, my man Yassine hit me and said he wanted to come and do an interview. I've been hitting Bryson for a while. Bryson's super cool. He came in, did the interview. Same with Matt. have been trying to do like my day in the life thing that I do on the along for the grind with Michael Flix. And it never really worked out. But now that I got the show, I hit Matt, who plays for San Diego State. I had him on last week, and he was like, "Yeah, man, absolutely." And like I said, you were the first one that was like, "No, bro, like let's come do an interview before I leave." Yeah. So that's super dope, and I appreciate you for that, man, for real. And that's one thing I was saying. I'm gonna just be all the way real. We had to do a retake because Michael Flix messed a couple things up, so we had to do a retake. Good. And I was telling Yassine, it feels weird sometimes, like asking people to come either like let me shoot their workout or come be on one of my shows because I'm a grown married man with kids and you guys are like younger. You know what I mean? I respect you guys always, but it's for me personally, it feels weird like when you're 17 and 18 and I'm 30, like yo, come here. Just you know what I mean? It makes me feel the way from time to time. I can't lie, but sometimes I got to get past it.
It's different with you though.
I feel it. I feel it. And you know what? I've said that to a couple people, and people say that to me, which I really appreciate. Yeah. People like, it's different with you, though, bro. Like, we know you show love. We know what it is with you. So that's always good, man. So what's been up with you, man? What you been up to?
Man, just working out, hanging out with family. Mainly just working out every day, staying focused, doing school. I've started my Yale courses, so I'm in my English class. About two and a half weeks in, so just grinding every day with school. Same routine, wake up, school, right after school, go work out, chill out at the house, either, relax with the family, and then work out again. So same routine, man.
I hear you. You say your English class is already college course?
Yeah, college course.
That's dope. My man Yassine is I'm all out of frame. My man Yassine is on his way to Yale on a full athletic scholarship, man. This dude gets busy on the court. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But, man, is on the way to Yale and already taking classes, and he ain't left yet. That's super dope, man.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody say maybe they are, and that's just not – they thinking like I'm thinking, what are you doing basketball-wise? But nobody's really said that. Like I'm taking classes and staying focused. That's dope, man.
Yeah,
dope.
It's so I can have 2 credits that go toward my freshman year, so I'm kind of getting ahead, getting a little start there. So it's only going to benefit me in the end, so I'm excited about it.
That's one thing I've always liked and admired and really respected about you is you've always seemed, I don't want to just say, oh, mature for your age. Like, people say that about a lot of people, but you've always seemed to kind of, how do I say that, to know.
I know what I have put out for me.
Right, and you've always seemed to know what you have put out for you, but know your why. Like they always say, like know your why, know your big picture. Like I think Rico Hines says. Yeah. Like you've always seemed to know that. I don't know if you exactly remember the first time. I got a really sharp memory. I don't know if you remember the absolute first time I met you, but I believe you were in 7th grade, and it was at San Pasquale High School.
Oh, was it for the Cream of the County?
No, it wasn't Cream of the County. It wasn't Cream of the County. You were, oh man, I forget what it was. But I remember I was there with I wasn't there with Full Time Hoops, but he told me he knew I've been trying to like do stuff on the basketball scene. He was like, "Yo, at San Pasquale, you should come pull up." So I came and I'm sitting next to him and I'm watching. I remember like there was games going on both courts and we were watching like opposite courts. And I happened to be watching your game. I had never met you, had no clue who you were. And I remember you got the ball like on like a semi break. You got the ball at like half court, and you took. Like, I'll never forget, because I was like, who the hell? You took, like, one big dribble, and then you looked like you had a guy coming down the middle, and you looked like you were going to pitch to him, and you just underhanded it to the guy coming on the left.
I know exactly what you mean.
And then he just grabbed it and finished it on the left side. And I was like, and you were a little bit taller, so I was like, maybe he's, like, no, with all due respect to anybody that reclasses or anything, I'm like, maybe he's, like, older. Maybe he playing down or something like that. And I just kept watching. You just kept making plays like that. You made just a couple of layups. I don't know if you could shoot very well back then, but you weren't really shooting jump shots.
I never shot. I never tried to shoot because I was so dominant, like with passing the ball, driving.
Very dominant.
So like
very dominant with passing the ball.
You didn't know, and I wasn't taught the real. It was just me coming out and playing. So until I got really taught is when I started opening my game up.
That's what I was gonna say. So my older brother, who's always been a point guard, shout out to my brother Stefan. He always he talks about when you can see passing lanes, you can get better at it from time to time, but like the elite passers is something that they're born with and they just were blessed with. How do you feel about that? Like, 'cause I've always seen you as an elite passer, but was there anything that you were able to do to like make it sharp or make it better? It was just like, no, I'm born with this and I can fine tune it.
No, I think he's correct. I was born with passing the ball. That's my number one ability. I feel like that I am that I do the best is, I don't know, it just comes natural to me. I've always been able to see, even when I always put in perspective when I'm driving or anything like that, like I'm very sharp to see things quick, and any reaction is always quick with me. So I mean, it's perspective in life too that I think came before basketball, and maybe it didn't just into basketball for me.
And see, that's difficult because I feel like I'm somebody who's, I can't say difficult. It's frustrating for me to hear because I'm somebody, I feel like I've always been really
Aware.
Yeah. Like on point. Like even when I was younger and it wasn't really like, as I got older and you start like going to parties and things happen at a party. So now you got to be aware, like a fight happened or somebody gets shot. So now like when you out, like you super vigilant. But even before that, I've always been like, as a kid, I watched my dad never sit with his back to a door, so I never sat with my back to a door. And I always paid attention to stuff like that. Any room I went into, I would always find the exits. Somebody start moving funny, I would see him and I would notice him. Like I've always been aware of stuff, but maybe that's a different kind of aware. But it never translated to basketball for me like that. Like I always played kind of, I said to people like, man, you ain't no Westbrook. I played like Westbrook, not nearly ever as good. Like I mean, they told the story last week. I only started 4 games on my varsity team my senior year, so I was never like an elite player. But I played like Westbrook in that I relied on my athleticism. I could run fast, I could jump high, so I would just run fast and jump high all over the court. And so passing for me came much later, and it was something that was still like a skill that had to be developed. So, like I said, I met you on a basketball court in 7th grade. How old were you when you started playing basketball? I just started playing like 2 months before that, huh?
Yeah, I mean 7th grade. Yeah, I was probably about 12 when I really played. My organized basketball I started with Ryan and Jordan Lawley. It was San Diego Rebels, and that's how I'm Ryan's first client ever. So I go back with him 9 years, and so basically when I was about, I'm 19 now, so probably about 11 or 12 when I first started playing ball.
And it was here. Was it here in San Diego?
Yeah, here in San Diego.
Okay, because when I met, maybe you were in 8th grade. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe you're in 8th grade. Because when I asked full time who you were, and he told me your name, I was like, "What school he's going to?" And he said something about you might be moving out of town.
Yeah, I bounced back and forth. In 8th grade, I was supposed to go to Sierra Canyon.
Okay.
And I was coming out of Sierra Canyon with, I was supposed to go as me, Marcus Bagley, and my friend Keegan Woods, and we were all supposed to go together, and it didn't end up working at all.
Why is that?
It was different visions of what was going to happen, and at the time, and Marcus Bagley ended up still going because Marvin was there, and then me and Keegan he went to a prep school. Keegan went in LA, but we were like the up and coming guys out of because we were kind of based out of LA at the time, and we were just we were supposed to do that, and it just didn't work out. So
I might lose train of thought, so I gotta ask right now. You said you guys were all supposed to go together, and that makes me think about like all this talk about like high school super teams. How do you feel about that? Maybe I'll go ahead and share my opinion this episode, but high school super teams, how you feel about it?
I think high school super teams, I feel like sometimes a super team kind of, in a sense, it happens, without just with guys developing first, and all of a sudden become good, and then you add a couple pieces. You add like another piece to it, and so I think it's good. I mean, it's competition at the end of the day. You still got to go play them. So I don't know how I really feel about it. It's just I never looked at it like, oh, they're super, like they're super team or they're super stacked, because I kind of was on a stacked team in high school, and so I don't know. It's just going out there and playing, man. That's how I feel. Like I don't look at them no different, So when we step between the lines, it's all game.
That's a fact. See, for me, I get stuck between. Cause I've always been that guy. Like in school, when I had to write a persuasive essay, I could choose either side. I could full on write a 5-page paper and argue either side. I've always been that guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now and play both sides. If I'm a guy,
be the devil's advocate.
Exactly. I'm really good at doing that. I'm super good at doing it. Sometimes it drives my brothers crazy, but I'm really good at doing that. If I'm an elite player that's playing on one of these quote unquote super teams, my argument will probably be, well, I'm good enough to be on one of these teams.
Yeah.
Like I'm good enough for them to ask me to come play on.
Yeah, and the fault of it is it started in the NBA. That's where the super teams start. I mean, yeah, besides it's always been in the eras where you had a couple teams where they were super stacked, but it started in the NBA, just like the 3-point shot, and translated to high school and then translated to our youth. And that's the shot to shoot a three rather than step it in and take a mid-range. So it has translated with the NBA. So honestly, I would blame it on those guys that did that to all of us. You know what I mean? That made that our outlook of, what the vision of basketball is now. So that's how I look at it.
And see, I look at it like the reasoning. Like it's like nobody's stacking for the most part. The teams that I'm speaking of right now, nobody's stacking a team to win a league title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they're trying to do big things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so if the goal, it's hard. This is a wild statement to say, but if the goal is noble, I guess, then it's like, then what's the big deal? Almost like with, and that's another conversation, probably another conversation for another day. But also like with reclassing, it's like.
But super stacked draws attention, draws media, and some of these coaches love that. I know my coach, Brad Leaf, doesn't like...
Oh, no, he hates that
He
stuff.
hates being in the media. He hates, anything to deal with it. He's always like, during season, get off Twitter, get off this. He's always, he on top of us about it because he realizes that all that is for a show, that you have to come out and actually get something done. People talk and they chirp, and that's what happens, but you had to go out there and perform and finish what you actually, manifest, or what you say. And in practice, or what to him, because then he almost feels like, you're lying to me, because you just talk, you're talking about, how you want to get a championship, how you want to win a title, and all this stuff, and then you're paying attention to stuff on social media, and maybe it doesn't go your way at times, and then it comes back, and I don't know, just looked like grounded and just focused on what's in reality.
Now speaking of Brad Leaf over at Foothills Christian, speaking of Foothills
Shout out
Christian,
to the GOAT.
for sure. I love like it's weird to say. I love watching him coach.
His energy is great.
He reminds me of, and it's a different style.
He's old school energy. It's old school energy.
Right. And this like he's the only coach that I can say I like to watch him coach. I know it probably sounds weird, but I went to Orange Glen, and when I was there, our girls team was like they were competing for CAF championships every year. And the coach Chris Anderson, his girls were so well trained that. Like tip ball, bro. He's sitting there with his legs crossed with his hands back for tip ball.
Wow.
And
I've seen some of the girl coaches here in San Diego, like maybe not bishops, but some of the coaches on the really good level, high level girls teams. I've seen that coaches just be chilling, sitting back and like relaxing, and then.
But see, what I enjoyed about him was that, for me, because I knew that they were a CIF level team, I knew they were super good. So for me, seeing that was like, my team is so well trained, I don't need to get up and do all that barking. But as soon as he did get up and bark, whatever order he gave, they did it right away, and it was
disciplined.
Super disciplined.
Yeah,
they did it right away, and it was super effective every time.
That's the problem now. There's no discipline.
Yep.
I mean, it's not discipline, but it's accountability that some coaches don't hold their players to. Like Coach Brad didn't treat me different than the 12th guy or 13th guy or the JV guy. And
see. It's different now. The players have to be open to that, though.
Yeah.
Still,
I'm serious. Like he didn't care about the media, me doing interviews, nothing. Like he thought it all just made my head bigger, and just even though it did it, but he that's how he felt like it was only gonna just corrupt me rather than just staying in reality and following the path that when all that comes later, you'll be prepared.
No, you're really good at that. You're really good at keeping a focus, like in the game with everything going on. We'll get to that in a minute. And so you played at Foothills all 4 years, right?
No, 3 years.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
I did mean to say that. Where were you at freshman year?
Point Loma High School.
Point Loma, because I remember your sophomore year when you guys played for CIF at San Diego State. I was there, and I meant to have it ready so I could show you. I'm gonna put it in the video so everybody can see it. I got a young picture of Yassine Gharram, bro. You ain't got the guns or nothing, bro. You super.
I know. I was like 160 sophomore year.
Still have the dimes. And it.
Man, I think about that all the time. It's like, I mean, sometimes in life, don't you feel like only if you had the knowledge you had now, and now, and I feel like I have knowledge now, but wait till a couple more years, and the years keep going. But I wish I can just go back and I would have played that game so much different, so much it was precise, and and
you guys were down a player that game too.
Yeah,
you guys were down like your first or second best player at that game.
Tayshawn Cherry.
Yeah.
We were down him. We would have won for sure. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, for sure.
But
for sure. That was a.
Well, shout out to Mission Bay though.
Shout out to Mission Bay. Yeah, they got their ring well deserved. Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Marshawn too. He's a great guy.
What made you? Oh, super good guy. I actually did an Along for the Grind with him when he did the Battle for the Bay. Yeah. But what happened?
Through this whole quarantine, man.
I broke my hard drive, and so I didn't have the footage anymore.
Wow. Yeah, through this whole quarantine. I mean, like every other day. I mean, I have him on Instagram. He's just like, "What's up, man? I hope you're doing well." That's it. Just checking in on me. Just being just being real, you know.
Yeah, when I was talking to him, riding with him, just asking him questions in the car, he was like, "Yeah, man, Boogie." He was like, "Boogie, calls or texts me before and after every game. Like we still have like a really, really strong relationship. And the fact that they go back to like Boogie's like whole life is that relationship is going to be there. So, what made you transfer from Point Loma to Foothills?
Basically, I mean, I've had that vision of me. So when in 8th grade, when I thought I was supposed to be going to Sierra Canyon, I had this vision that I need to not be here, but I need to be put on a platform because I already know that I was already overlooked, and that I need to be put on a platform where, you know, I was held accountable, that I can get better, that a coach can prepare me for college.
And you didn't have that at Point Loma?
No, I mean, I had a great coach there, but I just the spirit of basketball I take so seriously, and just, you know what I mean? It just mattered to me so much that I felt like I needed to be put on the best stage. I wanted to play the best, and I wanted to be challenged by the best. So obviously at Point Loma, you know, we were, I think, Division III or Division II, and nothing wrong about that, but I just
it's not the highest level
that I wanted to be at. So you know, I went to Foothills and made everything work that way.
Foothills has a I don't want to say rich, but they got a good history of, you know, solid, not more than solid basketball players that go on to good things. I mean, TJ Leaf made it to the NBA. Jalen Hands made it to the NBA. They got a good.
We got Tayshaun Cherry at Arizona State. We got DJ Carter at Montana Player of the Year. Me, I'm going to Yale. We have some good young bucks coming in, and plus there's a whole list of, you know, Troy Leaf, who went to Santa Barbara. I mean, it's a list of really good ball players.
Speaking of Foothills, you know who I'm excited to really, really watch next year?
Jalen
LaBelle. I can't wait to watch him play next year, bro. Because he has the game, and matter of fact, I'm gonna make a clip of this and put it on Instagram. So I hope he sees it. He has the game to be the number one player, but I don't know if he has the
number one player at Foothills.
Yeah, or any high school team.
Yeah.
He has the game. He can do everything at a high level.
Yeah.
Especially shoot it. But I don't know if he's not scary, but I don't know if he's, from what I saw, I'm not in practice with him every day, but I don't know if he's ready to do that, like to be the
What's your evaluation? And I'll tell you from inside of practice.
All right. I mean, don't pull his card or nothing like that, but for me it looks like he's ready and willing and wants to do everything, but the moment can get a little bit too intense for him at times.
And that's what it does to a sophomore. It did it to me.
That's true.
And
he is a
you know
sophomore.
what I mean?
That's
and
true.
Not everyone comes in ready to be that level. I mean, it's only 1% of kids.
Speaking of that, and we only got 10 minutes left, that was one thing I wanted to touch on. When you guys played, I believe it was the last game of league against Francis Parker. He laughing already. I gained so much respect for you in that game, man, because I've seen you. I was
off a week and a half too. I didn't play no basketball. My ankle was messed up.
Wow.
I didn't know I went and shot right outside. Just went, like, I like to refocus, go out to the outdoor court and just like feel like the street, just like I'm in the street. You know what I mean? And just shooting. Just took some practice shots before the game, like probably like 150, and went in, and walked into their gym. I shot it outdoor on their outdoor courts that they have now. And I walked into their gym. That was a week and a half of not playing, no basketball, no practice, nothing, sitting out. And I was so locked in.
Wow, that's impressive. That's impressive. Because like I said, bro, I've seen you drop darn near 40 points before. I've seen you have double-digit assists. You know what I'm saying? We know you can jump a little bit. We've seen you rebound. And we know you're like, most times a point guard that's that locked in and is that good of a passer is going to be the leader of the team. It's going to be like pretty much the coach's brain on the floor. But I had never seen you lead in that way before. Like, you were not about to let your team lose.
Yeah.
I gained so much respect because I like Chemo a lot.
Yeah, I love Chemo too. He's a good guy.
People don't talk about him, but as far as I'm concerned, he's up here, bro.
Yeah.
As far as like San Diego high school ball players, I like him a lot. And so I remember telling
he's a competitor.
Big time. I remember telling my older brother, I'm like, bro, you remember that kid Yassine I was telling you about? Like, you should come with me to the game tonight. He playing against this other dude.
Oh, he came?
No, he didn't come. He ended up not making. But I remember telling him, like, bro, you should come watch this
Dang.
game with me, bro. Like, I don't know. I could give you like my extra media badge. Maybe get you. I
Yeah.
gotta cut that part out. I can't. But I was like, yeah, bro, like, come. I come watch the
Yeah.
game. And he ended up not coming. I remember telling him, like, bro, you should have came. I think you had 30 something.
Yeah, it was like 36 or something like that.
If I'm not mistaken, like 12 assists and 8 rebounds.
Yeah.
And it was and to get back to LaBelle, I remember in the second half.
LaBelle's so hard-nosed, man. I'm telling you, in practice, there's not kids like him. He's so hard. He'll go at me. He'll want to fight, anything. He's so hard-nosed. He gives everything he's got, and his ceiling is unbelievable. He's going to be a really good player.
That goes right into the story I'm about to tell. So in the second half, I don't remember who's up by how many points, but I just remember it's a real tight game, and it's the fourth quarter with like
That was such a fun game.
3 minutes left.
Jeez.
It was one of the games I enjoyed more last season.
Yeah.
So it's fourth quarter, a real tight 1 to 2, maybe 3-point game, fourth quarter. And you had just come down and scored, and then you came down and dropped one off to Hollinger, if I'm not mistaken, and he scored. And then the next time...
Was it the three-pointer to Jaden in the corner?
No, he did something to where he got himself wide open, and you squeezed it through. And he fumbled it and it went out of bounds.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Bounds on the
Yeah, and
baseline.
Coach Brad ripped him.
Mm-hmm. And I remember I didn't even hear that part because I'm there to watch you and him, to be real.
Yeah.
I'm there to watch you and him. You guys are who I was really focused on. I'm talking to my man Raw Jules and stuff like that, but I'm really focused on you guys.
And is that when I walked over to him?
Yeah, but I'm about to get into what you
Okay.
said to him, though. So he dropped the ball out of bounds. And you walked over to him. You were like, "Come on, bro, we can't let that happen.
Yeah.
I told you before the game starts, don't do that." And I remember he accepted it because obviously, like, you the team captain, like this is your team. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the leader.
And he knows how intense I am
right?
during those
And he
those
accepted
games.
it, but don't nobody want to be spoken to like
Yeah,
that, like, in front of
for
everybody.
sure.
And then so he accepted it. And I remember he like real quick, like kind of didn't really roll his eyes, but kind of like looked up, like, "Damn, I messed up. I got to make that better." And then something else happened to where he got fouled.
And I have a lot of quick reflections like that where I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna come talk to him and I'm gonna be calm.
That's a leader.
And that's what I do right away because I'm thinking about, I could have said it a bit better way, but I was so intense just with my heart rate going, everything. And then I step back like 30 seconds. I'm like, all right, I'll go talk to him. Come on, baby, let's go.
That's
you know
a
what I
leader
mean?
right there. That's a leader. And so, and matter of fact, that goes right in. That's exactly what you did. So you ripped him, you jumped on him, and I omitted some things because this is I took some things out, but he really got into him. Like, bro, like we not losing. It was for league. That game was for league.
Yeah.
It was like, bro, we winning league tonight.
That's
like,
why it was like a championship to me.
Yeah, like let's go. So you ripped him, and then something else happened, and he got fouled. And I don't know if it was 1-on-1s or something, but he ended up going to the free throw line. And remember, you came up to him like super calm, pat on the hip, like, "All right, baby, let's knock him down." Like we need. It was still like, "Yo, we need these, knock them down," but it wasn't like, I was like, "All right, baby, you got it. Like, knock these down. We need these, though." I remember when you were walking, you couldn't see it or hear it. I'm snitching on LaBelle. You couldn't see it or hear it, but when you turned around and went back to half court, remember, I'm on the baseline, so I could see everything. He was like, "Well, leave me alone, and then I'll make them." And then he knocked him down.
He's like my little brother.
And then he knocked him down. And man, and like I said, I gained so much respect for you that night because I remember thinking, like, Yassine is my boy, and in my opinion, the best point guard in San Diego, but Kimo can play.
Yeah.
And I know he's a fiery dude, so I'm like, I don't know how quick that's going to happen. All right, y'all, we just wanted y'all to hear some music real quick. It's all good. Y'all know y'all like my intro music. I had to play it for y'all one more time. But yeah, man, I gained a lot of respect for you in that game, man. Shout out to Kimo. Ferrari, that's how you say his name,
Yeah,
right?
Ferrari.
Shout out. What school is he going to?
I believe he is going to Brown. I believe Ivy League. Yeah, shout out to Kimo, man.
I was about to say, I think he's going Ivy League.
Fun being, so competitive over the years.
I've been a fan of his. Quick shout out to him before we move on and talk about you going to Ivy League and going to college and all that. Wrap it up? Oh, my bad, Mr. Wade. Well, that's all the time we had.
Sorry, Mr. Wade.
That's all we got space for in today's show on the Michael Flix. Matter of fact, and before we get out of here, let me shout out to my boy Cord Tut. The song y'all hear playing in between the two segments is called Quarantine and Chill by my man Cord Tut, man. I've been meaning to shout him out for the last 3 episodes. And real quick, any local artist, if you want your song on the show, shoot me a DM and we'll talk about it. Yassine, I appreciate you, bro.
Michael Flix, thank you, brother.
Thank you for coming through
So
doing the
much.
interview, man.
Thank
On
you.
the Michael Flix, man. We out.